Arlington, Texas is a city that we're featuring today. We're talking affordability, we're talking lifestyle, we're talking real estate, we're talking about it all. Arlington, Texas is in the heart of the Dallas-Fort Worth metroplex. Arlington is right between Dallas and Fort Worth, and in fact, you're going to find the Dallas Cowboys playing in Arlington. You're going to find the Texas Rangers playing in Arlington, and also you can find Six Flags Over Texas in Arlington. Now, if you're looking to get from Arlington to downtown Fort Worth, it's going to take you about 20 minutes. If you're looking to get from Arlington to downtown Dallas, that's going to take you about 25 minutes. And if you're needing to get to the airport, that's going to take you about 15. Now, those are the travel times to get to Dallas and to Fort Worth and also to the airport. But let's apply our handy dandy how far can I go in 30-minute test, because with this test you see how far you can travel within 30 minutes from Arlington, which gives you a good idea of what the commute time can look like from Arlington. So as you can see, within 30 minutes you can get to South Lake, to Coppell, to Farmers Branch, cover everything in Irving, cover a good amount of Dallas, go all the way down to Cedar Hill, reach Midlothian, Mansfield, Burleson, Crowley, Benbrook, and just about everything in Fort Worth. So now that you know where in the world Arlington, Texas is, I want to welcome you to the go-to real estate channel for the Dallas-Fort Worth metroplex. So don't forget to hit the like button, because that really helps out the channel. The city of Arlington is the third largest city in the Dallas-Fort Worth metroplex and is primarily located in Tarrant County. Now, believe it or not, Arlington is actually the 50th most populous city in the United States, although many of you that are not part of Dallas-Fort Worth probably haven't heard of it. And if we compare Arlington to the rest of the state of Texas, it's actually the 7th most populated city. Now, we already talked about Arlington having a good amount of entertainment, but it's also important to highlight the importance that Arlington has when it comes to academics, as it has the University of Texas at Arlington, which is a university with over 45,000 students. Now, if you're wondering what the population actually is, it has just over 394,000 residents, which is a long way from when Arlington was founded in 1876. Now, when it comes to demographics, the owner-occupied housing unit rate is 55%, which means of the properties that are owned, 55% of them actually have an owner occupant, and the average number of people per household is 2.9. Now, when it comes to education, over 85% of the residents have a high school diploma or higher. And the median household income in Arlington is just over $63,000. Now, those are all numbers that may or may not mean anything to you. What I want to share with you now is information from niche.com that actually specializes in giving out grades to every single city in the United States. Arlington received an A+ in diversity. Now, with that being said, everything moving forward received at least a B, and that was public schools, housing, good for families, jobs, cost of living, outdoor activities, nightlife, weather, health and fitness, and commute. Now, the sole C that Arlington received was in crime and safety. Now, again, I need to stress that this was all information from niche.com, which I will link down below for you to continue doing your research. Now, to give you a better sense of what Arlington, Texas actually feels like, I want to showcase a few residents and share with you what they have to say about living in Arlington. Arlington, Texas is a rapidly growing city due to the entertainment district. The outer city limits is a great area to raise kids. However, the inner city is very congested due to the increased population and visitors. Current highway constructions are causing some delays, but hopefully the expansion will improve the flow of traffic. Another resident says this: Arlington has a lot of good attractions and restaurants to visit. Everything is near each other, so you don't have to drive far. Safety is pretty decent. We have police patrolling the area and they respond pretty quickly. It is affordable to live here even with prices rising. School education does need some work, but I would consider it average. Arlington is a very diverse community and has welcoming people. There are also many job opportunities here. Another resident says this: one of the best cities in DFW. It's super close to both Dallas and Fort Worth while still having its own style and vibe. There's tons of things to do, from going to the Cowboys game to Six Flags to simply walking around the UTA campus in downtown Arlington. Here's what another resident says: there are many attractions in Arlington, including Six Flags, Glow Life Field, AT&T Stadium, and the Parks Mall. I like how friendly everyone is and how there is always something to do. The city is the perfect size with the perfect amount of people. Something I would change is the amount of trash outside on the ground or in the street. I've lived in Arlington my whole life. What I've liked about Arlington is that it's been growing nonstop throughout the years. From building amusement parks to new stadiums and shopping centers, it's a pretty calm city, not too much violence or anything going on. It's also in the middle of two really big cities such as Dallas and Fort Worth. My rating for Arlington would be a 7 out of 10 because of its location and how diverse the city really is. And the last resident we'll feature today says, I thoroughly enjoy living in Arlington. I am very close to my school and all the shopping areas, which is a big change from where I used to live. I used to have to travel 15 to 30 minutes out just to get to the busy areas, and here everything is about 5 to 10 minutes. The people are very friendly and nice, and I overall feel very safe in this area. The only reason I would not give it a 5 stars is because of the traffic. I usually have to start driving around 2 to 5 p.m. and it is always super busy despite the closeness of everything, which makes it take even longer to get places. Now, a bit of the disclaimer when it comes to reviews, I try to gravitate towards the middle. I do not go to the super negative reviews, and I also don't go to the super positive reviews. I want to give you a moderate feel, a moderate review of Arlington. Again, the negative are going to always be negative, let's be honest, and the positive, well, they're going to make it sound way better than it actually is. So that's why we go with the reviews that we go with. Now, for you park lovers, this is your chance to really perk up and pay attention because we're going to feature Arlington, Texas parks. So as you can see, there are plenty of options. Now, this is going to feature the more frequented, the most popular parks in Arlington. There are actually a lot more parks than what you're seeing on the screen right now, but to save you some time, what we're going to do is highlight the major ones that have a rating of 4.5 and above. But let's go a little bit further and actually highlight a few so you can check them out. All right, so let's explore the super popular River Legacy parks. Alright, so now let's hop on over to Randall Mill Park. Now let's go a little bit further south and hit up Veterans Park. So now that we understand a little bit of the park situation in Arlington, Texas, let's check out the schools. Now, when it comes to schools, I'm just going to share with you the more popular schools because there are a ton of them in Arlington, Texas. Now, if you want the entire breakdown, I'm going to leave a link in the description that is a full resource for all of your school needs. But at least today, you'll get a sense of where the schools that you've probably heard of before actually are. So let's start off with Arlington High School, James Martin High School, Duff Elementary, Ditto Elementary, Piercy STEM Academy, Bailey Junior High School, Bowles Junior High School, Arlington Classics Academy Middle School, Newman International Academy of Arlington Elementary, Premier High School, Butler Elementary School, James Bowie High School, Arlington Collegiate High School, Ashworth Elementary, International Leadership of Texas, Juan Seguin High School, South Dallas Elementary School, Fitzgerald Elementary School, Arlington Classics Academy, Atherton Elementary School, Lynn Hill Elementary School, Amos Elementary School, Sam Houston High School, Maryhill Preschool and Elementary School, School, Young Junior High School, Newman International Academy of Arlington High School, Webb Elementary School, the Oak Ridge School, Bryant Elementary School, Corey Elementary School, Bibensee Elementary School, Charlotte Anderson Elementary School, Lamar High School, Foster Elementary School, Williams Elementary School, Little Elementary School, D.P. Morris Elementary School, Bergen Elementary School, and Miller Elementary School. All right, so far we know where Arlington, Texas is. We understand what the demographics are. We know what the park situation is like, and we have an understanding of the schools. Now, let's address the elephant in the room, which is real estate. Because whether we like it or not, real estate has a huge bearing on our quality of life. That determines how far away you are from your schools or which schools you actually go to. It also determines how far you have to commute for work. It determines so much. So let's talk some real estate for a second. Now, when it comes to Arlington home values, the typical home value of homes in Arlington is $317,880. This value is seasonally adjusted and only includes the middle price tier of homes. Arlington home values have gone up 28.8% over the past year. And folks, that is not a typo. I want you to see what the change has been in average home values in Arlington, Texas. And as you can see, over the past 10 years, when we go to 2021 to 2022, it shot up. It just ballooned upward. Now, I know that graph is a bit alarming because actually it alarms me as well. Now, regardless if you're looking to buy or looking to sell, or you're just watching this video because you wanted to learn more about Arlington, you need to understand this following topic, which is property taxes. Because regardless if you're in the market or out of the market, property taxes and that graph right there impact you. Because if you're a homeowner or an aspiring homeowner, you have to pay property taxes. Because in Arlington, Texas, your property taxes are going to be anywhere from 2.7% to 3%. It's just going to depend on the school district that you're in. But now to the fun part of the video where I share with you properties that are available for sale right now so you can put the numbers that we've just been covering when it comes to average sales price and all that fun stuff. Now you see it applied in an actual home. Now you get to see the amount of home that you can purchase. All right, so we're going to start off on my website and we're going to go to Arlington, Texas. All right, so right off the bat, you see something a little bit different than the number that we looked at with the average price point, the median price point of $320. So you saw that median price point came from Zillow, and it also is a couple months dated. So here, what you're looking at the moment is there's 639 properties that are being sold right now with an average of $404,000 asking price. So we're gonna click on that, but just giving you a bit of a heads up, and we're gonna only look at single family properties, and we're gonna start off from the median, or just a little bit higher than the median, because the median was 320. We're gonna start from 350 to, let's go with 400, because that's what the actual average right now is of all the homes that are presently available for sale. So these are all the homes that are available for sale right now from the average price of $350,000 to $400,000. Now let's scroll through here and find some properties that have some professional pictures, hopefully, and let's take a tour. So this one's being offered for $399. So that home right there is being offered for just shy of $400,000. So this was basically a $400,000 property. Now that's north of I-30. So let's get down into the central part of Arlington. So in the heart of it all, this looks like it's a remodel. So $375,000. right, so that was a 3-bed, 2-bath, 1,700 square feet property offered at $375,000. So now let's go a little bit south. Let's go to the south part of Arlington. So this one's being offered for $395,000. Now that home right there was a 4-bed, 2-bath, 2,078 square feet, and it's $395,000. So you can see it's south of I-20. So we looked at a property north of I-30. We looked inside of the interstates, and then we looked just south of I-20. Now what we're gonna do is we are going to bump up our minimum price range. We're gonna bump it up to $450, and we're gonna go to $550. So what I wanna do here is illustrate with you where there's gonna be less competition. Now, don't mishear me, there's still gonna be a ton of competition, but there's gonna be much less because you're above the average here. You're above the asking price or the average sales price. So you get to see the types of homes that you could purchase in this price range at $472,000. All right, so that home right there is 4-bed, 2.5 bath, just over 3,000 square feet, and it's $472,000. So let's check out another property. Let's go over here close to the lake because that's a very hot area. All right, so that home is $485,000, 4-bed, 3-bath, and just shy, and I mean just shy of 3,000 square feet. All right, so now let's travel south. Let's see what we can find down here. This one looks like it's got professional pictures, so let's check it out. Now, a quick reminder, those homes that you saw most likely are not on the market right now because they have sold, especially in this competitive market. If you're looking for current homes that are being sold right now, then check out the link in the description where I share all of the homes that are for sale in Arlington. All right, so now that we know what home prices are like in Arlington, Texas, and what we could realistically pay for a property in Arlington, let's figure out what is the monthly payment. What are we committing to there? All right, so we are here on bankrate.com where I'm going to link down below another handy calculator that you're going to want to check out. But for our purposes today, I'm going to share with you exactly how mortgage calculator works. I'm going to show you what to expect when it comes to a monthly payment. Now, there are going to be some assumptions that I'm going to make along the way. I'll share those with you shortly. For our purposes today, we're going to do a $400,000 property. Now, the reason I'm going with $400,000 is because that is what the average property price that you saw on our MLS is right now. So there's no sense in us doing $350,000. Now, if you want a customized breakdown, then just let me know. We'll get that done as well. All right, so home price, we're going to say it's $400,000 and we're going to go with 20% down. Now, here's one thing. The reason that I'm doing 20% down is because I don't want to make a calculation, which is called the PMI. So private mortgage insurance, as this freezes up on me. All right, so I don't want to do the PMI per month. Now, to give you an idea of what PMI is a private mortgage insurance that typically if you get let's say you got an interest rate of 5%, PMI would be an additional interest rate, an additional, let's call it fee of 0.5 to 1.5%. So if you did less than 20%, which you could absolutely do, you could do 5% if you wanted to, and you had an interest rate and qualified for an interest rate of 5%, well, since you did less than 20% down, then the PMI kicks into place. So there you'd be charged 0.5 to 1.5%, depending on what interest rates are doing, depending on your credit, depending on a lot of things, which again, I'll leave a link, a helpful resource for you down below so you can get a customized blueprint of what it looks like for you, but just give me a little bit of a breakdown. Now, again, I went off on a tangent, especially with me resetting the screen. So let's do this again. Let's go and say you wanted to purchase a home for $400,000 and you were willing to put 20% down. Again, you don't have to put 20% down, but we're doing this 20% so we can avoid the PMI, so we don't have to pay that. So the loan term is going to be 30 years. We're going to say that we can secure an interest rate of 5% today. Now, today, this is realistic. Tomorrow, who knows? So at the way that interest rates have changed, I can tell you that last year, 2.8% was not out of reach and it was very common. So here you can see the difference a year makes. So a lot of real estate has to do with timing. So let's continue. We're not going to worry about zip code. We're not going to worry about credit score because that's not going to factor anything. It will affect your interest rate, but we're not doing a full qualification. We just want to see what the monthly breakdown is. We're already assuming we have a 5% interest rate and the property taxes on a home that's being sold for $400,000. Chances are, I'm making a huge assumption here, just follow me here. Chances are that a home that is being sold for $400,000, the county appraisal district, so the CAD, the district, the appraisal district is not charging for, it does not have the property assessed at $400,000. Most likely it probably has it at $300,000, $320,000, $350,000. I know it's a little bit hard to understand right now, but there are other videos in this YouTube channel that share with you what the difference is between assessed value and market value. So this is what is known as market value or retail value, what you're paying. Chances are that the property itself has an assessed value of, let's call it $350,000, so less. That's one assumption that I'm making. I'm making the assumption that the assessed value is less. I'm also making an assumption that you're going to live in this property and you're going to do what's called a homestead exemption, which saves you money from a property tax perspective. At worst case scenario, you're being assessed and you're being taxed at $400,000 this year. Now this will increase. That's where we went back to the graph that we saw what the property values were going up so drastically in the last 10 years. That's why this matters, because next year this property could be $500,000 and then you would be paying $400,000 in assessed value. So for our purposes today, you know what? Let's just go ahead and say that the assessed value is the market value, which is rare, at least this year. Maybe not in a year, maybe not in 2 years, maybe not in 3 years, but as the time that you purchase a property, it's rare that the assessed value is the same as the market value. So what we're going to do, now that I have you thoroughly confused, we're going to multiply $400,000 times 8%, because that's what a realistic property tax is going to be in Arlington. That leaves us with $11,200 per year. That's what you would pay in property taxes come hell or high water. And we're going to divide that out by 12. So our property taxes for a property of this amount, assuming that its assessed value is $400,000, we're going to call it $933 in taxes. In insurance, we're going to say it's $200 a month, which could be more, could be less. This is all dependent on the property, yourself, and claims that have been put on the property and age. So a lot of things go into this. I'm just going to put $200. Again, you're going to want to get quoted from your insurance provider. If you don't have one, then reach out to me. I'll get you one. PMI, the private mortgage insurance, we avoided that because we put 20% down. And HOA, we're going to assume that there's no HOA. So no homeowners association. Now, if there was, a reasonable one would be about $150 for a property of that price. If we were to assume that the HOA is going to cost you $150, it's $3,000 per month, assuming a 20% down payment. So this could be more, it could be less. This is a reasonable amount. This is a reasonable monthly payment that you can expect on a property in Arlington, Texas. Now, I know that I snuck in a lot more math into this video, but I think that it's important, especially when we're talking about real estate. I want to give you details. I want to give you the facts. I want you to be super educated and also knowledgeable when you're purchasing a property, because there's no worse feeling than waking up on April and getting a huge property tax paper that's either, it depends on the city that you're in, it could be yellow, it could be pink, it could be blue. This paper that says, hey, your property is assessed X in property taxes, so now your monthly payment is going to go up by $100, $200, $300, $500. That is huge. That there's situations where clients have to sell because they just couldn't afford it, right? And I say clients, they weren't clients from me when helping them buy. They were asking me, I got to sell this house because I can't afford it. And that's heartbreaking. But as we know, our living situation is only a fraction. It's a part of our entire cost of living. I want to share with you the affordability. I want to show you the cost of living in Arlington so you get a full picture of what to expect if you're moving into the area or if you're considering moving from a neighboring city, what it looks like in Arlington. Now, the median home price is roughly $345,000. Well, we already established that it's actually a little bit higher than that because we actually saw the properties that were for sale at this present time. The median rent, you can expect to pay over $1,000 for the median rent. The average energy bill is $168. The average phone bill is $179. And the average gas was $2.74. However, if you walk down the street right now, it's about $4. So it did kind of skyrocket since these numbers were published just a couple of months ago. All right, so now when it comes to food and grocery, a loaf of bread can cost you $3.09, a gallon of milk, $1.80, a carton of eggs, $1.68, a bunch of bananas, $3.11, a hamburger, $3.93. Now, when we look at healthcare, a doctor's visit can run you about $108, a dentist visit, $92.83, optometrist, about $101, and the average prescription drug is going to run you about $430, and an average veterinary visit, $57. And if we do a summary of the cost of living in Arlington, Texas compared to the national average, you can see that overall the cost of living in Arlington is about 3% more in Arlington than the national average. Housing is just about the same. It's 1% less expensive in Arlington. Utilities is also just about the same. It's about 1% more on average. Groceries are actually less expensive in Arlington by 7%. And transportation is going to be higher than the national average by 5% because there's not that much public transit in Arlington. Now, if you liked everything about Arlington and can't wait to move into Arlington or can't wait to move out of Arlington, then my contact information is down below. But if you're not quite sold on Arlington, you liked a lot of the different elements that Arlington has to provide, but are looking for other cities that are comparable to Arlington, I want to invite you to check out Grand Prairie and Irving, because these two cities have a lot of crossover and a lot of the same characteristics that you might like about Arlington. Now, of course, if there's a city that we have not covered on this channel, then let us know in the comment section down below so we can feature it. And if you're looking to either make money or save money in your next real estate transaction, then our information is linked down below.